welcome to Battle of the Bits episode 3, and today we're looking at the 1988 action strategy arcade game from Sega, Game Ground. Now, Game Ground is a single screen overhead strategy shooter based on, as I've already said, Sega's System 24 arcade game, and was released into the arcades in 1984. Now, despite appearing quite simplistic, being a single screen game, there is actually a fair element of strategy here, as you have to guide your team from the bottom to the clearly marked exit at the top of the screen, whilst killing and avoiding enemies and hopefully picking up extra members of the team along the way. Now, the game was converted to both the Master System in 1990 and the Mega Drive in 1991 by Sega. Obviously, when you first see the game, it does take a little bit of influence from Gauntlet, but as I said, this is a single screen game as opposed to Gauntlet's scrolling maps, which does have a difference in how the game plays. So, without further ado, here on Battle of the Bits, let's take a look at Game Ground for the Sega Master System and Sega Mega Drive. So first off, we have the Master System version here, and to be honest, it looks pretty good. That's a nice looking title screen. You get a nice intro to each round here, telling you where you are, and the game looks pretty darn good, to be fair. In many ways, this is a game that plays to the Master System's strengths. It keeps things quite simple, it's effective, and it works really well. Yeah, there's a little bit of sprite flicker there, and yes, the sound isn't the best, but it works. It's a single screen game, and the Master System is damn good at doing these single screen games. Everything works. It is what it is. You know, you can select which of the agents you wish to start with there on the panel on the right hand side, and the game moves pretty well. It plays smoothly enough. It's a really fun version of the game. Yes, it doesn't look as good as its arcade big brother, and yes, it's not going to look as good as the Mega Drive version, but you know what? Given the limitations of the machine here, a fairly simple Z80 with what is realistically quite limited RAM and video RAM, I'd say this is a darn good version. So, how does it stack up though next to the Mega Drive version? Well, let's have a look, shall we? And here we have the 16-bit Big Brother conversion of Game Ground, released a year later on the Mega Drive. As you can see, presentation looks pretty decent at the start here. You know, the title screen looks good, very similar to the Master System version, but obviously a bit more going on there with a bit more animation. And what they've done here with the Mega Drive version, they've moved the screen to the middle, which gives it more of the arcade version's aspect ratio, with the sidebars being kind of similar to the arcade in that it shows you the characters, although on that it was a static illustrated marquee, whereas on here you've got the HUD basically displayed on the sides, telling you which round you're on, how long you've got, which character you're using, your score. And again, I think this looks pretty darn good for a relatively early Mega Drive game. You know, it's not the best looking game on the system by any definition, but equally so, it's nowhere near the worst. It does what it needs to do, and it does it clearly and simply. And yeah, you know, it plays really well. The controls are fairly nice, they feel quite responsive, you don't feel like you're struggling, and the game is a bit of a challenge, which is always welcome. Now, I admit I'm rubbish at this, but I do like this game. I think both versions are excellent, although I do find myself a touch more impressed with the Master System version given the relative difference in power. Now, having seen both of them, I do have to say, yeah, I do prefer the Master System version. As I said, it's far more impressive when you think about the hardware that they squeezed it down onto, from a System 24 arcade machine down to a humble Z80 with a teeny tiny amount of RAM. But both versions are worth owning, and both versions are fun to play. So if you can get a hold of either version, I would heartily recommend it. Now, thanks for watching today. I've been Rob, This has been 81632-bit with its 8 versus 16 battle of the bits. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, hit the like and subscribe buttons, leave a comment below, go and comment over on my Twitter or my Facebook page, and until next time, I'll see you then.